Hello, welcome to Album Deep Dive with Jason and Friends. And today I have my friend BJ, who's a 501st Legion brother. And
Hey,
thank you very much for joining me today.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I see you got some of your Star Wars stuff back there. Awesome.
Yeah,
um,
I should figure out how to do a background because all you get to see is my armor bins and toys and stuff behind me that it's not the prettiest,
you-
but
yeah, but like when you do these, like when I move, you could see so it's
yeah.
kind of sucks either way.
Either way, whatever. Yeah.
So today we
Uh,
are tackling Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love, which is to me m- um, probably my favorite Motley Crue album. How about you?
yeah, it is. It is by far. Um, I always remember listening to this growing up, and it felt really like this is when they were really musically, musicianship, they were just awesome. Like they probably
Mhm.
hadn't started to really do drugs yet, and so like,
I think
you
the
know,
drugs haven't affected them yet,
well, yeah, that's what I meant. I think they're like,
because I am sure they were probably getting high as could be in teens.
oh yeah, for sure,
This album though, like I didn't like. I think we were talking prior. I didn't find it until much later. I believe you too.
yeah,
Yeah, I was, Shout at the Devil was the one that introduced me, but again, it has to do with age. I was only 6 when this came out, so obviously, like, what 6-year-old is running around going, "I want Motley Crue."
yeah,
But I
same.
certainly did at 8.
That's
Actually,
awesome.
somewhere along this in my room, I have, my Shout at the Devil, school folder that they would sold at the food store that my mother bought me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the interesting thing about this album is obviously you can see there's multiple album covers, and that has to do with the fact that there was a leather release, which was an independent release in 1981, and then they actually did like I think 9,000 copies and sold out pretty quickly, selling them out of their trunk of their car, I believe it was, on the Sunset Strip after shows. I can only imagine what a Motley Crue car looked like in 1981.
Oh, probably not too great.
Probably smelled really bad.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
then so when they did the original, it was black and white. When they did the reprint, they added a little color to red. And then obviously the one in the middle here is the electric version that everybody's probably more familiar with. Other than the writing and color, not much changed. So some of the contrast. Um,
Mhm.
I see on the bracelet it says Vince, so obviously I think it's Vince Neil on this. I think a tribute to Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers, I would say.
Oh
Have you ever
yeah.
seen that album cover?
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
same concept.
I never put that together, but yeah,
Yeah,
probably so.
and I know they were Stone fans.
Oh yeah.
Though the Stones, I say, have to win it because they had theirs unzippered on the original album, the zipper of the pants. So we'll give them props for it. But and then of course in the back is in the middle is the back, which the difference between the versions and like I have this is a reprint of the Too Fast for Love leather release, and you can see here like they're really up close, where in the Elektra one they're a little further back.
Hmm.
This sucks. There we go.
I see what you
There
mean,
we
though.
go. And
It's got the border around it.
one of the most interesting things I think on this, have you ever heard the Elektra release?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
I've the one I listen to the most is whatever I have downloaded into my phone from Apple. So, it's whatever version they gave me. That's what I'm accustomed to now. I would have to listen to them side by side to really,
Oh,
pick out differences probably.
Big
Um,
difference. Big difference. One, the recording is completely different. When they recorded it for Elektra, they re-recorded it.
mm,
Um, like for instance, Livewire, when it has the breakdown at the end with the drum part,
mhm.
there's like crowd cheering in it and
Oh,
clapping and stuff, and the track list is different. And two, the the leather version has one extra song which is called "Stick to Your Guns," which was cut off the Elektra version, which is I don't know if you ever heard that song, but that's a great song.
yeah, that's the version I have has a couple actually extra songs, like some,
Toast
maybe
to the
some different
Town.
takes and, yeah, Toast I love that song, it's great.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that's why I got that version because it had the extra songs that I had not previously heard, when all I had was, like, a cassette or, my CD of it back in the day.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I mean, that was same for me. I do have, like I said, I actually will send you the Elektra version because it's completely different. Um, Merry Go Round is done with a acoustic guitar versus electric guitar.
oh,
So there's some big differences in it. All right, so let's get here. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. The lineup: Vince Neil, Mick Mars, Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee. Unknown. I think it's shocking. Like a lot of bands, you don't know who everybody is.
right.
And this is a band, I feel, in the 80s, you knew who every member was, their name, at least.
Absolutely.
And was it Nikki Sixx totally changed his name. I guess he had issues with his, well, it's documented. He had issues with his father, and
Mhm.
decided to change his name. For Frank Farano is his real name. Vince
Yeah.
Neil just dropped down. Vince Neil Wharton just dropped down to Vince Neil. Tommy Lee
Mhm.
was Tommy Lee Bass, dropped the Bass.
Mhm.
And Mick Mars, just he's like
Bob Deal.
yeah, Bob Deal. Um, and oddly enough, I never knew this until I think I saw the movie. You saw The Dirt, right?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Um, he made he gave the name, which I never knew that. I
Yeah.
thought it was Nicky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kinda vaguely remember one story how they said that when they were coming up with it, they were drinking Lowenbrau, which has
Mhm.
the little characters over the O and the U, and they were like that's where they got that from, and I
Yes.
thought that was interesting.
Yep. And then Nikki wanted to call it the band Christmas, like
Yeah.
Christmas. Oh, that would have been
Glad they
horrible.
didn't. Yeah, not good.
um,
Christmas.
for, Formed by Six and Lee, Nick joined, and and add loud, aggressive, rude guitar player, um,
Mhm.
which is a very famous story. Vince Neil joined last. There was another guitar player before Mick. I can't remember what his name was. I know he's mentioned in the movie a little bit,
Yep.
but was only
That's
in the
where
movie.
that's where I learned about that. I didn't know they had a guy before Mick,
Mhm.
but they didn't get along with him or whatever, and they were like,
Yeah.
and, Mick they really benefited having Mick because, he'd already been in bands and, he was a little older and
Mhm.
kinda helped him out a lot musically, because I mean, Nicky is good now, but I don't think he could really play that great until,
Yeah.
he hooked up with Mick. Mick kinda showed him, like, what to do and stuff.
There was a lot of rumors that even into Shout Out the Devil, that the only two people that knew how to really play or do anything right was
Mm.
Tommy and Mick. That
Mhm.
Vince was a wreck and Nikki was a wreck. And um, I believe now, I know there was some controversy a couple of years ago because Bob Rock said something about him being like learning how to play bass finally or something, but didn't meant it more like he plays it more traditional, I guess, like a bass player
Mhm.
versus somebody
Right.
who's just picking it up and trying to learn it, which
Mhm.
is kind of what he did. You play bass, right? I
I
think I see.
do.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's cool. I seen a video. I think you did for 4th of July or Memorial Day or something. You did the. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just sitting there messing around. I was like, "Oh, let me just record this real quick," but
Yeah, that was cool. Maybe
yeah,
we'll
so
get you on here to play some Motley Crue bass.
oh, I love it. I love it. Back in the day, I used to have a BC Rich Warlock because, it was Nikki had one, and
Nice.
I just thought it was cool. I don't know what happened to it. I think I sold it, but it was it was
What's your most interested bass line with Motley Crue? What's one that grabs you?
um to be honest, it's probably gonna be off of Generation Swine, where they had that one
Yeah.
song. It was I'm drawing a blank. It goes like do 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 do
Oh
do
yeah,
do
Afraid.
do do.
Afraid.
Afraid, there he is.
Yeah,
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 of
yeah.
course.
Um,
And I just always thought that was cool. That's like I still play that sometimes. I pick up my band, I start messing with it. It's just kind of
mhm.
fun to play, kind of catchy little bass line. But Nicky's. I never thought he was a bad bass player. For when you can hear him. One thing I love about Too Fast for Love is that it's mixed really nice, so you can actually hear him play. You can hear what he's doing. He's doing some fairly interesting stuff that works well. Back and forth with Mick. So,
Mhm.
uh, so that's one thing I love about it. I'm always listening to bass when I listen to songs. So,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the bass is more dominant in Too Fast for Love versus the other albums.
yeah, as
Oh,
it goes on, the '80s were awful for like, oh, bass, we don't need that. Let's kind of lower
mhm.
that down. You want to hear the guitar.
Yeah, I think a prime example of that is Metallica and Justice for All.
Yeah.
Like, let's eliminate the bass altogether. Uh,
hmm
yeah, but that I really enjoy his bass lines. I mean, I hear people say to me they're simple. I'm not a bass player, so I don't know. But I like uh, a lot of his bass. I mean, even the simple thing that he does in the beginning of "Shout Out the Devil," when he goes,
hmm
"Dum, dum," I always like hear that. And I'm like, yes, let's go
hmm
shout. All right, so "Too Fast for Love," October
Yes.
1981. It was released. It was recorded in the hit city West Hollywood. Just recorded in a few days, which I think is hysterical because only can you get away with that when you're a new band.
hmm
Once you become established, it's like, okay, studio for 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah.
And, you think about it, just a few days. And to me, they put out their best work in a few days.
Well, you got to think your first album, you've already been playing clubs and like you want to put your best foot forward. So you've already got like 10 solid songs that you want to, you're already polished on that you can just go in there and get through pretty quick. But, by the time you get to your second, third album, you're like, well, we already recorded the good ones. We got to write new ones now so that's why they
Yeah.
take a little bit longer.
Yeah. They, with this, you also, I mean, I've been always, a lot of people wrote, like songwriters say, you write your whole first album, your whole life, and then you have like half of a year to write your second one.
Sure. That's true.
So I guess it's sometimes easier. And I know a lot of fans struggle on their second ones.
hmm
Uh, let's see here. The original one was produced by Motley Crue, engineered by Glenn Flett. Um, Additional engineers were on there. Remix was by oh no, I'm sorry, mixing was by Michael Wagner, mastering Joe Hansch. But the version that everybody really knows is that's the leather version. The Elektra version though was actually, which is really cool, and I didn't know this till a while ago either. Um, it was remixed by Gordon Fortzi, but supervised by Thomas Baker. And Roy Thomas Baker is very well known for the producer for the Queen albums.
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, he did all the big Queen albums. To me, that is kind of crazy that Motley Crue got that kind of attention from the remix of their, you know, self-produced album by Elektra, right away.
yeah. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really. Uh, I know. I believe I heard somewhere the original one cost a few $1,000s. Maybe it was like $6,000 to $10,000. Remix. God only knows. So, yeah, I forgot there's a leather version, Elektra version, and there's a Canada version. I don't know much about Canada's.
Oh, I didn't
I
know that.
wouldn't believe. I mean, I could have been the third album cover. Let's
Could
see
be.
here. So we got uh, so we're gonna go dive right into the album.
All right.
We're gonna go right into this, and we're gonna go track by track. All right. I guess we'll kind of stick to the Elektra version here.
Okay.
Opening title track. I think you've heard this one before, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
Live Wire. A lot of people will say this is the best song off the album.
Yeah. Yeah.
I disagree with that, but
Yeah.
definitely an awesome butt kicking song. Plug Me In, I'm Alive Tonight. I mean, as soon as you hear that, you're just like, yes.
It's a banger. I'll have to send it to you. I think I got it somewhere. It's a karaoke recording of me singing that back in the day.
Cool.
I'm kind of glad I still kept it, but yeah, it's really good. The video for it, I don't know if you remember the video, it was just like, that's really what I think got a lot of people into Motley Crue, was like, you see the pentagrams and the skulls, and so they associate that with Live Wire. It's just so cool.
Nicky lights his leg on fire in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Great video. What's anything stand out for you in this? Like lyrics, guitar, bass, drums?
I mean, it's just so punk, basically, like it's very fast. The drums are very just tight, the whole band is just really tight on this song. Not that they're not, in other songs, but like this is, it's just so fast for them. They're not really known for like super fast songs. And, Vince's voice is just perfect for what he does with it. And, and then they have that little part where they slow down for a little bit, and you hear, Nicky kind of grooving in it,
yeah,
in the middle. And I don't know, man, it was just such a good, well put together song, and of course, when you do an album, you're thinking, well, what's going to be the first song? Well, no brainer. It's got to be Live Wire, because, just imagine like starting out a show, or that comes out and, Mick is just tearing it up, I
think the best riff off the album is Live Wire.
Yeah. It's just such a cool, it's like that kind of riff is like, I mean, that's why people remember like Black Sabbath and Ozzy and stuff, because they just had those banger riffs, that come out, and it just rocked so hard. I don't know how else to say.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of, you're exactly right. It kind of celebrated 70s guitar riffs, but also brought in hey, this is what it's going to sound like in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
is
is
a good. It's like a transition almost,
Yeah, which is crazy because Mick, who's the person who plays the riff. I mean, he was 10 years, like almost 10 years older than him. So he had the taste of the 70s, but was appreciating what was current. The drumming in it, the breakdown at the end, I think I really, prior to this, could struggle to figure out another song that had a kind of a drum breakdown like that. Prior, and then banging the cowbell. I mean, I really wasn't too familiar in heavy metal or rock at that point, right? I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just so well orchestrated to where everything fit perfectly, which is maybe not less of a case with some of their other songs, but they have a lot of songs that are just play the riff, play the solo, and it's pretty consistent. But that little breakdown, in the song where they all kind of groove for a little bit, it's just so cool that they threw that in there. It's almost like somebody said, hey, this is too punk, we have to like put a little blues and a little jam or something in it,
Which could have been Mick, because I mean, he's any interview I've ever seen him in and say, talk about his guitar playing, they're like, he's like Jeff Beck, blues,
Mhm.
that was his jam. I mean, it's
Mhm.
amazing what he turned out to be as a guitar player when you look at the influences. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and, I think a lot of that was the other guys who were just young and angry and wanting to get
Mhm.
to get that anger out in the music, where, Mick is over there playing, like, slide guitar, blues, and,
Mhm.
he's more of a thoughtful, guitar player. Not to say that he wasn't about the hard, heavy metal, but, he definitely had the musicianship to add different components like blues and
Mhm.
like older rock elements, that they weren't really introduced to yet at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and also this is, again, this is really a band that at this point was working in their, rehearsal space or their apartment. And it just shows you what Motley Crue can do, because after seeing this, you can see how producers took over and said, this is how we're going to arrange your song.
Yeah, for
'Cause they
sure.
lost a lot of this after that.
Mhm.
All right. Come on and dance.
Come on
There
and
was,
dance.
yeah, there were times in my life where I would tell you this was my favorite song off the album. Now in 2026, I'm not going to say that, but I love the song.
Mhm.
Uh, very simple. I mean, simple. Simple lyrics, kind of. "Come on and dance" is very catchy.
Mhm.
You know,
Uh, I love the part at the end where Vince does probably the highest note that he's ever sang on a Motley Crue song. That little, at the end, he's like, it's a kind of the background. I can't even mimic
yes.
it, but there's like, where he gets like really high, and I'm like, I'm sure that he does not do that now when they play the song.
It's
But
funny too because, like, "Come on and dance," which I think I wouldn't picture Motley Crue singing a song like this now, or writing
yeah,
a song like this now. But I would imagine coming out of the disco era, when there was probably a lot of dance and stuff. So, I'm sure there's a deeper meaning behind this than it
hmm
presents, because I said it presents not like, mentioning to me like Sandra D and, um, like maybe more of an old vibe or something, maybe from the 50s or 60s. But
hmm
I don't know. Like I said, totally belongs on the album.
yeah, and,
Good,
and
good.
you're right. It is, probably drawing from older stuff that they were, familiar with. That was very relevant still at that time. But come on, it's still kind of like, come on and have fun. Just come on and
Yeah.
rock. Come on and let's party. I think it just works. For the way they present it, and it's
Yeah.
just
I mean,
really cool.
I I sometimes still wish this was played, but I like the guitar riff too.
hmm
It's kind of very heavy in the very beginning, you know?
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
really
This
like
is
that. All righty. So we got Come On and Dance, and then the next one we have Public Enemy #1. I
oh
think the movie really brought this song back to life.
yeah.
Um, Definitely. I always loved it. I guess what's it playing off of uh, Chicago mob history, maybe, Public Enemy
hmm
#1. But great, great, great. I like the lyrics. Obviously, the guitar, drum, bass, when they do the breakdown, and then they
hmm
hold the guitar and go like that with the audience, and Vince would get in there with the microphone.
Oh man, yeah, it's classic. Showmanship. Kind of like like Van Halen. It's probably coming from some of Vince's like David Lee Roth
Yes.
impersonator days. I
Yeah.
also love the cowbell. Like a lot of cowbell in that song.
Hmm.
um,
And I think
yeah.
this has some a lot of personal Nikki Sixx lyrics, especially with his kind of like he's talked about his youth a lot, and about running
Mhm.
away, and which he kind of ran to, left Seattle, ran to Los Angeles with nothing. So I
Mhm.
mean, I give it a great song, and I'm gonna throw out a guess. I got tickets to see Motley Crue this summer for the Carnival of Sin 2 tour,
Mhm.
and I would not be surprised if this gets played finally because of the fact of the it really got a lot of notoriety through the movie again.
Yeah, that I only watched the movie once, and, I loved it. I need to go back and watch it again because I just remember I mean, it's it's a movie, it's kind of funny, in parts, kind of,
Yeah.
like, wacky, like, you're like, "Oh, come on, I didn't have it like that," but, it's the gist of it,
Mhm.
but yeah, but musically, I think it's great that, you see him playing the songs and, the actors are really playing, like, what's his name?
Mhm.
He actually had to learn how to play drums 'cause,
Oh,
you can't
Machine Gun
you
Kelly.
can't yeah, you can't fake that, You
No.
gotta
Yeah. I actually, what's so crazy? I was actually working, and I was working in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, for the month. So I was stuck at a hotel. And the night the movie came out, I got home from work, and I got my hotel. I think I got Taco Bell. Put the movie on. Soon as it was done, went because I was watching on my laptop.
Yeah.
Went right back and hit play again and watched
Oh,
it for
yeah.
straight time.
Oh, it's
I
a
didn't
good
really have
one.
anything else to do. My
Mhm.
days at work traveling, which thank God I don't do that no more. Yeah, so this I mean, great song.
Mhm.
Merry Go Round Around. I
Oh,
love
man.
this song. This
Mhm.
just reminds me this gives me the chills when I listen to it, and I think about, like, lost teenagers in Los Angeles or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the Elektra version is it starts with a guitar, electric guitar. The leather version actually started acoustic. Um, but I mean, both versions are really good. There was Motley Crue live Entertainment and Death live album. Did you ever hear that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that they actually had a live version of this, which was so cool to hear. Because prior to that, it was so hard to hear anything live from this era.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'd have to go back and listen to that. I know I heard it on there. Um, yeah, this
So
song
what?
has so much, like, just different melodies throughout, Vince shows some really good vocal range on it, and it's just it makes it very interesting, it catches your attention, like, the whole you're never there's never any part of the song where you get bored, listening to it or feel like it's repetitive. Uh, it's just a banger.
Yeah, and you're right because they, it could easily get burnt out, in the very beginning, but then they
Mhm.
just switch it. They have a couple nice changes in this song, and at the end, I mean, even like the drums, how he's beating the drums, and he's just going merry go round around, merry go round around. Like it just, you're like at that point, you're like, yeah, let's go, merry
Mhm.
go round around, let's go.
Like, you'd think that would just seem repetitive, but it's just, like, so rocking, you're like, "Yeah, bring it," "Keep it up," "Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this."
give me another 20 seconds of it.
Yeah, at least.
Like if someone's watching this and I mean, first of all, if someone's watching this has never listened to this album, I would tell you to pause me and go listen to it and come back because this is
Mhm.
such a good album. Uh,
It is. It is. It's
Lyrics,
my favorite.
are kind of simple. I don't really think anything's like tremendous. I think sometimes the simplest things are the best,
Absolutely.
in music.
100%. Mhm. Yeah.
Take me to the top. Uh,
Yeah. That's another interesting song that's very much like Merry Go Round Around, like, musically, has a lot of stuff going on. You're like, "Oh, that's different," and it's
yeah, that
just
is
very
the
fast and got a lot
drum
of
roll in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, oh, good. Again, this is definitely LA streets. Uh, you know, and then being fighting your way. I mean, I always looked at this song, fighting your way on the streets to get your band out there to the top.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Like it's like those stories they tell where they were going around and putting their posters up over other bands' posters, like screw you, we gotta you're gonna watch our
Yeah,
flyer, like on the light poles or the electric poles around town, come see us
uh-huh,
tonight at the Roxy or whatever. Um, kind of
yeah.
stuff that they would do.
And and a lot of people don't maybe not think this, but when they're sitting there writing this and putting this out, their competition was Rat, Quiet Riot, Wasp,
Mhm.
Great White, Dokken, and
Mhm.
Black and Blue. Like, all
Yep.
these were these other bands that were hanging around and trying to steal the show from them. So, you know, it's crazy. And
Mhm.
what did I see? Uh, I was watching a podcast. Oh, Stephen Piercy from Rat, where he said
Uh-huh.
that they really came in and just tore it up, and they kind of got the notoriety, the huge, the huge name, and selling out arenas really quick, and um, you know, friends. They were all friends and stuff, but they said it was pretty wild to watch. They formed in '81 and was signed in
Mhm.
'81. I mean, that's just right there. Just tells you
Yeah.
something, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, they knew they were special, and people listened to them, and again, this they were all on top of their game at this point.
Uh-huh.
Vince sounded amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just all of them were playing really good. Um, and you got to give Nick. I got to give Nikki Sixx credit because he's probably been playing bass for like a year. Trying to figure
Yeah.
stuff out, and he jumped in and
Mhm.
practiced with Mick a little bit, and he's
I
doing
believe
great. Playing fun stuff.
I believe Tommy was in high school when they started recording this or something, or when they just started. He was just finishing up high school.
Yeah, I think so. He was the young man, the young lad of the band,
Yeah.
and
Well, he might have stayed back too.
that's true. He did kind of look like the guy that in your class where you're like, "You got your driver's license?" Like what? Yeah, like,
It's like,
what?
"Oh," or, "Who are you? I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks."
Mhm.
Ah, man.
That's
Alrighty.
true. I could
So,
see that.
piece of your action. One of the things that stand out on me is that Vince Neil is co-writer,
Mm.
and he doesn't write too much with Motley Crue throughout the years. But when he does write, I really when he's a part of it, I think the songs are pretty good.
Mhm. And the way the song flows is so it's just so good. Like, I always say like this is his number one singing album, this is his voice was, on top. Um, and then the guitar is like just so punk,
Yeah.
with this is another one that has like some really cool riffs in it. And da, 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 you can't help but like kind of sing along with it, and you're
Oh
a
yeah.
piece of your action. It's just so good.
And this
Um,
is the song that's still played.
oh
uh,
yeah.
which is crazy. I mean, throughout the last, I mean, probably not in the last 5 years, but in the 2000s, this was played a lot. I mean, I remember seeing them, hearing this Too Fast for Love, On with the Show, in the last 20 years were the three tracks that got put back in. Um, but they're saying now, I just saw on the website the other day, they're doing like a poll, and they're about classic songs that they want to add to the set list for their upcoming tour,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
I,
is
I
cool.
think I'm going to that too, man. Are you going to Tampa,
No, I'm doing West Palm.
West Palm? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess, I mean, they're both about the same distance. I probably should have did either or,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Um,
I'm looking forward to that. Tesla is opening, which is another great band.
oh yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
love Tesla. Always wanted to see them back in the day. Some friends of mine just went to go see them. I think they were up here somewhere and
Yeah,
said it was a good show, had fun. So
they play
I
off. They
love.
play often. I saw them a couple of years, like maybe 2 years ago.
Hmm. I guess that's one good thing about being our age is a lot of bands that we liked. Like it's way easier to go see them now, you know, somewhere for and like a smaller club or a smaller venue or something.
Yes, it's more enjoyable now, I think, because you still got years ago you get stuck in arenas and you can't see. Now you can go.
Hmm.
It's like a different experience. Oh, you know what? Tesla just played no, St. Augustine
Yeah,
with
it was
Bret
going on.
Michaels like a week or two ago.
Hmm.
I was actually it was funny. I was filming the first episode of Album Deep Dive the night before, and it was the first episode is going to be a Poison episode. And
Oh,
I said to a friend of mine that was doing it with me, I said, "Oh, should I go?" And he goes, "Absolutely." And then the next day, I just woke up and said, "I'm too old. I'm too old and too tired. I can't."
uh,
Again, I have seen Poison, Motley. I've seen Motley Crue over 30 times. I grew
wow.
up in New Jersey, and I was in between uh, Philadelphia and New York City. So being able to see bands in New Jersey, which we had our own arenas and amphitheaters, plus being able to see shows in New York and Philadelphia, there was times like bands like Motley Crue would come by, and I would go to, they did New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I did all three shows.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I would go to all 3 nights. That I mean, Smashing Pumpkins is another big favorite band of mine, and actually, I've always said I mean, since I was 8 years old, I've always said Motley Crue was my favorite band. Of course, in '91, I kind of changed that and said Smashing Pumpkins is my favorite band. But um, when it comes down to it, and now it's the both are. They both are my two absolute. I mean, I will pick them over the Beatles. I will pick them over, anything that and anybody ever says like this is the best band. Motley Crue, Smashing Pumpkins. I will forever. Piece of Your Action
Okay.
lyrics. Um, kind of your 80s.
Yeah,
You know,
straightforward rock. You know, nothing too deep, but
yeah.
just well put together.
That's
Uh,
I think that was always the argument versus 80s versus 90s. Is 80s was just let's have fun with our lyrics, let our lyrics be
mhm.
fun, and 90s was like let us be miserable and unhappy. So I mean,
Yep.
I kind of went through my goth phase, so I guess I got it when I
Hmm.
was a teenager. But you do miss this feel good party stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Starry Eyes. God,
Dude.
this song does not get credit.
Mm-mm. This one here, this is my favorite one.
Yes.
Uh, yep. This is my favorite track on the record. It just slaps. You know, when you get to that chorus and the drums are just driving it, and you're like, and it just feels like it puts you there, like you're seeing who they wrote the song about. You know, like you just picture a face. You know, and you're like, ah, so good. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I I agree with you. I mean, I think this is one of my top favorite songs. I mean, just the line that she's got a power of a child inside her eyes, and
mhm.
when you cry now, she holds you like a man supposed to be held. I always dug that line. I mean, very
Yeah.
simple, but I great lyrics, great music, a story. I mean, great title.
Hmm.
I, I I did like I was telling you before they were talking about their new set list. They're doing a poll. I saw this is on the poll and still on the
Oh,
poll. So
yeah. I would
this
love for them to play this.
could you imagine just like sitting at the amphitheater and they start, the drums start with this song and you're just like and
Dun, 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 dun. Woohoo. I'd be like, yeah.
I think I would cry. I'd be like, no, I'd be turning into some, teenage girl at a Taylor Swift concert.
Well, it's okay because she'll hold you like a man's supposed to be held. So it's all right.
Exactly. Yeah, so I love this song.
Mhm.
I do hope it's on the next one. Then I mean the next shows. I mean, I really
Yeah,
hope it is.
I hope so.
Too
Let's
Fast
hope.
for Love title track.
Mhm.
Elektra version had it cut, um, where they took out the intro, which you on the reissue versions, they do add that full version. So you
Mhm.
heard that when he says, "When you're young and crazy, life goes
When
on and
you're
on and on."
younger. Yeah, yeah, I never heard that till I got the one with the extra tracks, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," but I could see why they would cut it too, I could see, I like it both ways, actually.
I like it. I can see why they cut it. When you're making like your first record pop, you want it to be rock pop, I guess, and
Mhm.
that kind of takes away with it. But the thing with that part, to me, it gives the song so much more meaning.
Yeah. When
You know,
you're young. Yeah, that's
because
yeah,
you
I don't
do
know.
say to yourself like, "Oh, too fast for love." Like, okay, what's that mean? But when he's saying like you're young and crazy, life goes on, and I don't know, like that's kind of growing up again, listening to this music, it's like, yeah, you're young, you're crazy, and life goes on. Like
Mhm.
you get older, and what you did then doesn't really matter anymore.
Thankfully.
Yes, yes. Yeah, my God, I would regret so much. I mean, I don't regret a lot, but I regret a little bit of some of the things I did. But
Same, brother.
I think one of the things that I look back on and I still say to myself, when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college. I decided to become a stand-up comedian instead. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years. And
Oh, awesome.
but now I cringe at it when I think about it. And it's funny because when I bring it up, people go, "Oh, you should do it again." And I'm like, "I'm 50. I was 20 when I was doing it, 2021. Not happening."
Eh, yeah, you could
Did
do it. You could do it. It might be funnier now, 'cause
yeah. I
why
don't know.
wouldn't it
I'll stick to this.
be? Alright.
Crowds, getting back up again there? No way.
Yeah,
And
I
then
get that.
I did wrestling too for 20 something years on and off. And, that was a lot of performing too and a lot of beating up on the body. But, all right, well,
Awesome.
back to the album, not me.
Okay, okay.
Too Fast for Love. I mean, lyrics, I mean, nothing too special on this, but,
Yeah.
they play it live still to this day. Oddly enough, I find that crazy. Like, out of all the songs to play off this album, I wouldn't have picked this one if I was in the band, but
Yeah, I mean, it may have just been like people have favorites for different reasons, it's just kind of I mean, this is definitely like the party song, uh,
mhm,
so it's what they
you're
were
right.
about. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna play this song and then come back to our apartment after the show, all 150 people here. We'll drink beer and hang out.
Yeah, 'cause that's I could see this song, holding a beer, drinking a beer, banging your head on this one.
Mhm.
That definitely that's that type of song.
Yep. I think they played this when I saw them on the Dr. Feelgood tour, I think. That was a long time ago. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely actually, we'll talk about that tour, in a little bit because there's even though it's not related to this album, there's some cool stuff with that tour. On with the show. I gotta say, I'm gonna say this is my favorite now. And
Yeah.
I went through changes in my whole life with favorite songs of this, but I would say today, yes. Frankie died just the other night. Some say it was suicide. Loved the line years ago, but especially after seeing the movie and seeing him like light up his license when it said Frank Ferrano and changed it to Nikki Six.
Mhm.
I think that's when I said, like, you know what, this song is just so well written, so well done musically. I just love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's deep, you know, this is like their one really deep song
Uh-huh.
on the record, you know, that it has if you and if you I guess if you listen to it, you could easily miss what they're talking about,
Uh-huh.
you know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, you know, but yeah, it's Nikki's life pretty much, and he's like, "Well, no, on with the show," you know?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what you totally see. Like, my life sucked, but I'm killing Frankie. I'm becoming Nikki Six, and on with the
mhm.
show. Which,
And now we rock.
yes, and then that's 81, 2026. He went on with the show, and to
Kept
huge.
it going.
Yeah, I love the song. I saw them in um 2000 and maybe 2003.
Uh-huh.
I think it was. I was in Dallas. It was in Dallas, Texas. It was one of those weird things. I was living in San Antonio, but had to go to Missouri. So we bought tickets to the Dallas show. A friend of mine. We drove from San Antonio to Dallas, watched the show from Dallas to Missouri, then back
Wow.
to San Antonio. It was crazy. But oh my God, that was the first time that I ever heard the song play live. And I mean, not only did they play this song, but they were doing like um Louder Than Hell and some other like Red Hot, that show, and I was just like, holy
Mhm.
shit, like because I had gotten prior to that, they were such a greatest hits band when you saw them.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
so it
You
is
got
so
to.
nice. Yeah, but it's so nice to hear this.
Mhm.
I would say definitely my favorite.
I'm gonna have to try to find it and send it to you. There's a concert video I found somewhere. I think I saved it somewhere in my YouTube that it was a show from like the Shout at the Devil tour.
Mhm.
And so of course it's all songs from this and Shout at the Devil, you know, it's just like so good, you know, like such a good era for them. And it actually sounded really good. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of older recordings kind of sound like crap from that era, but I'll have to see if I can find it. You would dig it.
Yeah. So that's the track list. I mean, then we have obviously the songs that were cut, which was Stick to Your Guns,
Mhm.
which was
Stick
not on
to
the
your
original album.
guns.
Yeah, which is
Mhm.
really, really good album.
Mhm.
I mean the song, I'm sorry, song I was it what is the cowbell, and is it a whistle in the beginning?
Maybe. I can't remember now, but yeah,
Yeah,
those couple extra songs were like they were all really good. Like, you know, I
yeah.
especially like the Toast of the Town. I thought that was really
Uh-huh.
good, you know.
Toast of the Town was a single before the album.
Oh,
Uh I think it was Toast of the Towns and Stick to Your Guns. And I think that's why, because it was a single and put on a 45, they didn't include it on the original. Elektra definitely cut off Stick to Your Guns.
mm,
I wish it stayed on. I love the song, but we got it many years later. They
yeah.
also on the reissue had Tonight, which was a
Oh,
cover
that's a
song.
good one.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's a cover song though. That wasn't theirs. I can't remember exactly. It was some 70s, band.
yeah, something
But it was good,
some obscure. Mhm.
you know.
Tonight, tonight. Yes, dude. Yeah, all those extra songs. I was so glad that I was able to come across those because you know this is like my favorite era of. You know, there's others lost songs or you know songs that they cut from you know decades later that I'm like, fine, I don't care really, you know. But like
Uh-huh.
this era here was like so special, and it's you know the vibe was just so good, and it sounded so good. I was like, nope, I must listen to all these songs. I must find them in whatever capacity.
Well, I'll tell you what a nerd I was with this album. And I think it was 1989. A
Mhm.
band, I don't know if you ever heard of Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pretty Boy Floyd, their album Electric Boys came out, and Electric Boys with Leather, or Leather Boys with Electric Toys. And they did Toast of Your Town. They remade it on that album.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
And when I got the album, I bought it for their hit, I Wanna Be With You. And when I went home and was listening to it, and I was looking in the cassette things, and I saw Toast of the Town written by Nikki Sixx, and I'm like, no way, because I had heard about that song for years, but never heard it. Like, so I would just play that one song over and over, going, "This is so crazy." And I know I've met the singer of that band. He's a really nice guy, and I have communicated with him on Facebook. He's
Oh, that's cool.
He's a real cool dude. He also, on another Pretty Boy Floyd album, did another very well talked about Motley Crue song that was in this era of 1981, 1982, called "Run for Your Life." And that's another one that Nikki Sixx did, with Motley
Sounds
Crue.
familiar.
Yeah, they never released it. They might have now on some of these other things, but again, you had the Pretty Boy Floyd version, which Pretty Boy Floyd always held true to when they cover Motley Crue, to the original of it, because I mean, and I know that Steve really appreciates Motley Crue and this album so much that I think it was last year, he had Pretty Boy Floyd play this full album, Too Fast for Love, at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Oh, wow.
His whole band played it. And oddly enough, I was on his Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and I saw he was selling it, and I thought it was the CD version of it. And I was like, oh, I got to buy this. So I contacted him, because you can only, you have to contact him to buy it. And he sent it to me, but it wasn't the CD. It was actually the DVD of the live show at the Whiskey.
Oh,
so I was like, oh, this is cool anyway,
that's cool.
So that was pretty cool. Played, the original album. And he's, like I said, he's got such a groove for some of these starting LA band first albums. He even did it with Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In. He had play that whole album. But yeah, that's fair. That's, again, if you wanted to hear some Motley Crue stuff from this era, from another band. And then I believe there's always these tribute albums.
Oh, yeah.
You brought up a very interesting thing about Vince Neil's voice, especially this album. I love Vince Neil's voice. Vince Neil's voices are usually what gets me to go to an artist.
Yeah.
I'm, again, sometimes musicians, they're like a guitar playing or, drumming or the bass or something, but it's usually the vocals. And I never complained about his voice. I never said he was the best singer or a great singer, but I like how he sings.
Yes.
It kills me, though. He's like 64, 65, and people just constantly harp on how bad of a singer he is now. First of all, Motley Crue just released Theater of Pain vinyl. I have it over there. It's like a vinyl box set, and in the vinyl box set is a live vinyl from 1985, which was like a radio show that they did, and his singing was horrible in 85, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. I still love it, but it was so. Why at 2026 are we complaining about? He wasn't that great in then, but we loved it, Dude,
I remember in '89 when I first saw him, he was like messing stuff up and going off, kind of going out of key, and there was parts you couldn't hear, and I'm like, what's happening here? What's wrong? But I mean, it sounds good on the record. I guess people, when you play live, you kind of lose that concentration of, you're jumping around and you're swinging the microphone, and when you're in the studio, you're sitting here, stable with the mic in front of you, and somebody's forcing you to, like, nope, sit still, sing this part. Oh, that sucks. We got to do it again. Do it till, but. Again, that concert I was telling you about, I'm gonna have to send that to you, because he sounded good. They sounded really good there. So there was at some point where he just decided, you know what? I've made it. It's fine. I don't have to try so hard during live shows. You know, let's just have fun. And
Yeah, I mean, I know I saw him in it was when his Carved in Stone album came out, his
mhm.
solo album.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw this was after his daughter died.
Mm.
And I saw him at a club in New Jersey, and I'm talking a small club. And I almost like I can't even tell you that the inner kid in me was like dying because I was just like Vince Neil's right there, you know.
Ah, that's awesome.
But you know, he was sounded great. He did good then. But again, now he's 64. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like leave him
Who
alone.
cares? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
be
You're
thankful.
you're you're going to see people who are basically senior citizens at this point. Like, you know what this
Yeah.
is. Come on. You know what this is.
Take it for what it is and have fun and shut up with the bitching and
Yeah,
complaining. You know, I can't.
exactly.
I can't.
Just
Like,
have fun.
yeah. Give the guy credit for not using like he because I swear if anybody ever said Vince Neil's not singing on stage, I would say
Well, you're
bullshit.
right. He's not. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because if that's tape, they need to
Yeah.
fire the engineer.
Yeah. Who's who's letting him get away with that? You know?
Yeah, but I love
This
it. I'm going and I'm not going to complain. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah. You know what this is. We all know what it is. It's fine, you know.
So
I hope
your
I can
first, oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, your first show, Motley Crue show. What was your first one?
It had to be Dr. Feelgood. And I remember Faster Pussycat opened up for him. And it was here in town when it was like the Coliseum before uh back then. It was such a fun show. And so many things happened during it. I remember Tommy Lee did, it was when he started doing those elaborate drum solos where the drums would come up, spin around,
Uh-huh.
and I want to say there was a point where it like he was going over the crowd somehow, and it's funny because Mick started was doing a guitar solo first. It was just him doing a guitar solo. He was running around. He had a slide guitar. He was playing some pretty wicked uh, licks, and the whole time people are watching Tommy Lee get ready for his drum solo because you could see him like, dude. Everybody's like, dude, look, it's Tommy. What is he doing up there? He's like getting, so
Uh-huh.
you knew everybody was paying attention to him, and it was just fun. I always remember Nikki Sixx smashed a bass at the end, but he's not going to smash like like $1,000 hammer or a Spectre or whatever. He went and got like a little $100 Epiphone and like smashed it instead. And I was like, I see what you're doing there. I'm with you on that one. I wouldn't be smashing my best instruments either, but you got to smash something, right? Yeah.
Yep. Just like you, my first one was Dr. Feelgood. Faster Pussycat opened up, which was crazy because they were blowing up at the time, and I had just totally deep dive Faster Pussycat. I like got on that train. I had never heard of them. House of Pain had came out, and was it Poison Ivy, and man, I was
So
just
good.
I was so happy to see them and then
Mhm.
see Motley Crue. And you're right, Tommy Lee was on the ceiling. He did his drum solo on the ceiling and then jumped bungee cord down.
That's
Holding on.
right.
Yeah, I remember going, "Holy crap, that's so crazy!"
Because you could see him up there, and everybody was like, Mick is doing the solo, like, hey, I'm doing the solo. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, that's great, but we're all like watching Tommy Lee about to kill himself. I
Yeah, and mine was Easter Sunday, which it
mean,
was so funny because I was 14 and I remember my mother being devastated that I was not able to be with them on Easter Sunday because
oh
I
boy.
had to go with my friends to her family's house because they were driving us to the concert. And my mother was so mad, but I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'll miss any holiday to see Motley Crue. It was my first time, you know.
Yeah.
And then my I did my other good one would be is I the farewell tour they did I think in 2017 18. uh, I went to see that, and a friend of mine talked me into buying the VIP, which was $1,000 ticket, and but it was with a meet and greet with only though Mick, Vince Neil, and Tommy. Which I will when I air this, I'll put the picture up because I do have a picture with the three, not Tommy, Vince, Mick, and Nikki. Tommy Lee was not a part of it,
Oh no.
but it was so cool, and it was so I just like I actually got to stand next to Vince because I always used to say Vince Neil was my idol. From what he's done in his life, I don't know why I used to say that,
That's true.
but I
Yeah.
just I wanted to be him so bad when I grew up. Not now.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
can't blame you.
all right,
That's good.
BJ. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's good to just talk about Motley Crue, talk about
Yeah.
rock and roll.
Anytime you want to do another, you just let me know, and I'll be happy to work with you again because I definitely enjoyed your company.
Same, brother. Same.
Okay. All right. Well, to all the listeners, thank you very much. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and my Facebook channel that I started today. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
I've been gone for such a long time.